Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the second semi-final of the Women's World Cup. This one, England the favourites, taking on the French. What should be a very awesome contest. Now, we already know who's through to the final. It will be none other than the Canadians, who have booked themselves that spot. And now New Zealand, they are booked in for the bronze. This match just about to get underway. There is also a Carling Curry Cup game going on at the same time. So we are going to be keeping you informed about that contest as well. Currently 63 minutes down in that game. Lions are leading 22 points to 17. But England, they will be receiving the kickoff here. France having a bit of a rough game at times up against the Irish. But that also doesn't take away from how well Ireland played in that quarterfinal. But we are underway for the women's semi-final of the Rugby World Cup. And currently the ball is in the hands of France. Little knock on from England to start this match off. Not quite the way that they would have liked it to go right from the get-go here. And now a drop ball from France. Little bit of early nerves from both sides with the double knock on. And we'll go back now for the scrum. Like they've said, it's a good start for the French getting in there. And also we have got there how close is Alliance to the try line. At the moment, the Lions have not got the ball. The Greeks have got it 40 metres out from the Lions line. Now we have got there, if anyone asks, I'm not here, okay? And if anyone asks, I'm not here, says, wait, what? He does indeed. I did read it. We have got there, no biting, says Johnny Blaze. Yeah, a bit of a interesting situation happening. I want Kildun to win. And that's the thing, that head knock. Not last game, but the game prior. It did look a little bit concerning for Ellie Kildun. She's back for this game, though, and she is a welcome change for the English. Although saying that, they still had a pretty dominant performance in their quarterfinal up against the Scottish. Not really exuding a huge amount of energy from that game either. Taking the foot off the gas, knowing that they want to take this one deep. But the scrum feed now for the French. Going in, and a very good push from this French pack. Breaking off the back, it will be Filiu. She gets inside of the English 22. And all that France can ask for is to continuously make meters. And that is what they're trying to do here with the run of Kelly Arby. Now onto the inside. To the right-hand side, Kahiangi, and that number 5 jersey for the French. Now, back across to the right-hand side, still 10 metres out from the try line, and the penalty goes the way of England, just side entry in the breakdown. And that is bottom, and she knew how crucial that one was, managing to dodge the incoming French challenge. I wonder if it's a draw. If it's a draw, I believe they go to extra time. And then, I guess from there, they'd look at the pool stages, which I believe would end up being, in that case, England, who do end up going through. But I think first they have extra time. How did you abandon the Curry Cup final? We did indeed. I did mention from the get-go that we were going to be cutting off at 60 minutes for that game. We are still keeping you guys updated on it. Currently still 22 points to 17 in favour of the Lions. The England pack is massive, says Gasper. Oh, a little bit of a slip at the back for Bez. They're talking about the downpour array just before the kickoff. So around the halfway line, little kick in behind attempted by the French 9 towards the sideline. Well cleaned up by Zoe Harrison. Now charging through a gap. Beautiful step and coming here. In fact, it's Ellie Kildun has managed to take that one on the near side. She's got her hair tied in a different way than she'd normally have it. Maybe trying to protect the back of the head that little bit more. We have got there, the England pack is massive. And also, like that afro head for England on the wing. So I assume you're talking about Ellie Kildun. He's playing number 15 for this matchup. Bit of pressure on the breakdown for the French. 3 minutes into the contest already going short side. Run there from Champon. I am choking. Not ideal. One moment. Oh, wow. That's a healthy voice. Not sure what happened to the voice there, ladies and gents. It's still not sounding ideal. But now France. Kicking it off to Ellie Kildun at the back. It doesn't want to work. Vocal cords broke. We have the Oranges Hamish says bad dog, and England for the win in the final 2. Says bad dog there, nicely taken by the English. Now breach And the breakdown, they look like a little knock on from England, but it is going to be play on off to the left-hand side. Moving it quickly, Ellie Kildunn down the wing. They are not going to catch her. Oh, she steps inwards as well, making it a slightly easier kick for the English. And they will score the first try of the contest. You know, sign language just in case. Says, wait, what? No, unfortunately, but that one is a try for Ellie Kildunn. And we have there, don't die, Hamish. I'll try not to. Are you okay? You don't look well? Well, I just choked, didn't I? So not really, but we're good now. And easy try for Kildunn. Yeah, out on the wing, positioning there, and then just losing the foot race for Conde there. Didn't quite have the speed that she would have liked in Ellie Kildunn. A nice, easy finish. And they are so happy to have her back in this English side currently. 66 minutes through that Griquas Lions game, and the score is sitting 22-17 in favour of the Lions still, but that kick has gone over. 7-0 now the score for England in this game. They're just talking about Ellie Kildunn and the skill that she has. She is always one to score tries in those important moments. And there are not many more important. Of course, the semi-final is a pretty big one, but that final around the corner. And just sliding around. And it does look very slippery underfoot. One's going to be kicked towards the corner from George Whitehead in the Griquas game. Now taken by England with Zoe Allcroft. Back to the right-hand side, little pop pass up. And the last thing that France want is 2 back-to-back tries coming here for England. That is what they've been able to do up against so many opposition. Accidental offside, kick the ball onto her own player, no try. Says I lollipop there. Going to the right-hand side. France with possession round the halfway line. Bourdon Sanzus, whose name I still don't quite say right, but she is in the number 9 jersey, and she has been quite the impact player for France throughout this whole World Cup. She tried to milk the penalty there. Referee's not buying it. Little chip in behind from the French, nicely taken by Meg Jones. Pops it up now into the hands of Kildunn, who's just fighting through challenges as they come at her. The Lions is going to cry. They should have taken the kick for the post. Now offload again there for England. They started this one like a house on fire. Allcroft and a few extra metres. Wide cut-out pass. Now into the hands, I believe this time it's going to be Abby Dow, and she is wrestled out. In fact, it was Jess Breach this time. She is right up there in terms of tries scored throughout this competition as well. Conde finds herself defending out in the wide channels quite a bit here. Griquas, they find themselves still 10 metres out from the Lions line. So they're getting just that little bit close, although it looks like the Lions are about to get the steal. No, in fact, they give away the penalty. Now, chance here again for England. They can manage to get a steal at line-out time, 7 minutes into the contest, and up by the 7, being thrown in by Hiran. And it's going to go backwards for the French. 40 metres out from their own line. This one looking back into the pocket to find our best. In fact, this time they're going to use Conde just to make a few extra metres forward. Now another pick and go. Offloaded there. That's a bit high around the neck from one of the English players. I think it was Allcroft. And it is going to be the penalty for the high shot. Another penalty awarded to France. I listened here, and the Ferns game was on Free TV Live. It says, wait, what? Out of all the names, French is the most difficult to say. I don't know how you pronounce it at all. You see, I've always struggled with French pronunciations, unfortunately. Another penalty going the way of the Griquas in their game. They've got 11 minutes remaining, and they are looking to try and score right at the end of that game up against the Lions. And there's Ellen Casper. Says, wait, what there? Yeah, we're just seeing her getting slung around a little bit, and there were those eyes that went towards the referee. See whether or not she was going to get the penalty for it. Just showing the French head coaches here, Mignot as well as David Ortiz. And they have opted to actually go with the scrum here round the halfway line, which is a pretty interesting choice, I would say, for the French, rather than looking towards that line out. But perhaps that is due to the pressure that England created off the last line out, that they don't want to take too many risks here and instead feel like maybe their scrum is going to be that better option. But they are just showing it is Ménager. Oh. Okay, the Canadian coach actually watching on as well here. See who he's going to be facing, who is the ball in the Lions game at the moment. The Griquas are still 5 metres out from the Lions line. Looking to finish this one off and get themselves potentially the lead in this contest as they break off the back. And now another scrum reset between these two sides. Already 10 minutes through it. It's been flying by for the early stages. Try saying Sansus like Sansius. Sansius? Is that how you say it? Sansius? Maybe? Or Don Sansius? I always sound Japanese when I try and sound French. And then when I try and sound South African or Afrikaans, I sound French. So it's a bit of a weird one. It's like a weird triangle going on. Well, half is the scrum. So here's people. So they are just inside of their own half at the moment, England. But it is scrum feed for France. So about 45 metres out from the opposition line here for the French. Sansius. You've put it out twice, but I've probably mispronounced it twice. Now, going to go down at scrum time again. We got time off. Both front rows getting a bit of a warning here. Who are the Lions? Red Roses, please, mate. Dale there. So the Lions and the Griquas are currently playing in the final of the Carling Curry Cup. We abandoned that live streams because we were going to be doing this one. And that game was supposed to be one-sided, but currently 5 points difference. And this scrum's taken 3 minutes to complete. So there's plenty of downtime as both sides are getting a bit of a scolding from the referee. Got it the second time. Zakaris there. Celsius. Are they still 5 metres out from the Lions line? They are, but they're dealing with injury now. Well, the Lions players are down. Now time is back on. We're going to have a 15th attempt at this scrum. Sansus. Maybe. An out ball's going to be fed in by Baudon Sansus. Close? Not close? Probably not close. We'll take it. It's close enough, I'd say, compared to what we were saying the other day. Big scrum from the English, but the ball pops out the back now. France thought about using their back line, but it's going to be the attack and run forward from the 15. Now, Bernardo has moved forward. Interception taken by England, who just dropped the ball there for Amy Cockayne. And now ball on the outside. This is a fast-paced type of game here. Menage just not quite getting the pass away the way that she would have liked. Now loose ball, England pick it back up. It's been about 4 ball changes in the last about 2 minutes since that scrum. 50-22 attempted by England. And it's going to be just out from the goal line. No option there for RBS but to kick it out, or at least she tried to, but the ball curves back in. And it means that England now with the counter-attacking chance, 40 metres out for the line. And Zoe Harrison hits it up. Oh, falling off her feet there was Natasha Hunt, one of those experienced players for England who has done so well throughout this Women's World Cup. And it's another drop ball. Couple mistakes in a row here from England when it comes to that handling. Be pretty disappointed about that for the first 12 minutes. Greek was still 5 metres out from the line, ladies and gents. They haven't been able to break through. Love the ref. I didn't see lay on the floor for that lady. Can't beat a bossy woman, says Tin Man. We have got there Sansus. Thank you, lads. Rock the planets. Let's go. And people hits the like button. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. Whoever loses this game will go up against New Zealand next week. The winner will face the Canadians in the final. And Griquas need to get a try, says Ruth. I wish the correct way to say it is Sam Sears, or she is. I think the commentators themselves, I did turn it up a little bit before, and she was saying a little bit more like Sansus. And they have now going off to the left-hand side, trying the inside ball to Baudon Sansus. And now pick and go again here for the French going short side. About 40 metres out from the English line. And I have to say that France, from the eras that we've seen of the English, they do need to make the most of one of these very soon. Because if they aren't able to score it, that is when the danger does really set in. And England are so dangerous at a counter-attack. Now backline movement again, going to the right-hand side. Good run forward for Kelly Arby. Now Baudon Sansus. Again, going back across to the left-hand side. On Imbrazo. Arbez back across, driving tackle there from England. It was Meg Jones who put in the hit. Bit of a loose ball, picked up again. The Griquas have just scored in the Currie Cup as well, ladies and gents. So 7 minutes remaining, and they are tying with a kick to come in that matchup. Well, Zwilendaba did end up scoring it, but France now on the halfway line. Don't quite get through. Now, Baudon Sansus again, big collision there by Cabaya. Now inside pass, not really going forward. In fact, landing on her teammate there for Vernier. And Baudon Sansus again going across. France are still around the halfway line. They are not moving forward, but instead slightly further back. I wonder whether or not that kicking option could be on the card soon, although instead they are going to go with a wide cutout pass into the hands of Menager. England still having to defend. This is up to 14 phases in a row. George Whitehead gets the kick over for the Griquas, and they take the lead with 6 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. Could be a massive moment for them in the contest. Who's in the lead? Says Mohadin for this game. It is 7-0. And then in terms of that other matchup taking place in the Caroline Currie Cup, now a 2-point lead for the Griquas. Yeah, massive driving shot from Meg Jones, forcing that physicality early. TMO, you should be ashamed of yourself. Obviously knocked on by England. The build-up, come on guys, do your job. Says Mark Davis there. And not doing final with the Griquas. We did the first 60 minutes. Currently that game sitting 24-22 in favour of the Griquas. We got it in a dual screen. We're keeping an eye on it. Allures Le Français. C7. Now another scrum feed here. England sitting 7-0 up after the first 15 minutes of this contest. So it is absolutely flying by. Crowd getting behind the English. Of course, that Twickenham final already sold out. Massive amount of support for this Women's World Cup as a whole. Some terrific crowd numbers. Going off to the right again, Hunt. Now looking to move it away. Harrison. One more pass on the outside. Here's Ali Kildun. She is the lone woman to score a try in this contest, and she may get another one if she's not too careful. I should say, if the French aren't careful, another knock on from England, though. Far from their most clinical performance at this point. And France looking to fire back in. Baudon. Baudon Sansus. Now kicking in behind England. Well taken by Menager. Now Arbez. Backline here again for France, getting into the wide channels, and just a good low tackle made on Arby. Onto the ball for England. Meg Jones, just like she does in the sevens, manages to lock over, and she was not moving. She's yelling at the French players too. She is beyond fired up for the semi-final. It's great for your commentary. As we are England fans out of the country and can't get coverage on the radio. Thank you, says Lucy. No worries at all. But yeah, England definitely looking like the real deal throughout this competition. G'day, Hamish. Griquas are going to do it. They might, or the Lions may just score now with Angelo Davids in the corner. No, he gets driven out. Now not taken well at the line-out time for England. France managing to get the ball back. So then just outside of the 22, Arbez will put it high. Going into a bit of open space. It's an awkward bouncing ball, which means it could go anywhere. It goes onto the side of France. Then actually knocked on by Bernardo. And it sounds like it's going to be play on. France going for the little chip on 50-22. And they get it there. And that is now going to give France a very good position on the field. I use text-to-speech to find out how to pronounce their name. There's Maverick Blogs there. And also we've got the good Evans too, humdinger games at the same time. There is indeed. I don't know why they didn't make it so that it didn't overlap, but it is the reality next week as well. The Women's World Cup final taking place at the same time as the Rugby Championship match between South Africa and Argentina. A line-out throw now for Giron. Their number 2 jersey. This is a big line-out. They are inside of England's 22. And that's a nice little set-piece line-out actually going into the hands of Baudon Sansus. The front of the line-out. The Griquas, they have 4 minutes to stay on the lead if they want to win that Carling Currie Cup match, ladies and gentlemen. So they are right on the verge of making a little bit of history for themselves if they can just hang on. Now, stepping there. 10 metres out from the line. Oh, bit of a rough pass. It has been called as backwards, though, into the hands of Conde. Shifting right. Little bit of a step there, not going through for RB's. Good defence from Bottoman. Oh, Baudon Sansus. On across. Another huge hit. England's defence is not letting up one bit whatsoever. Now another pick and go. This time for Fall. Now off to the left. Step in again, the always dangerous outside centre Conde. 7 metres out from the line, but the turnover good for England. Another great bit of work in the breakdown. That may have been Meg Jones again. Ali Kildunn does get pushed into touch, so the pressure is not gone yet. But a massive steal there for the English to be able to survive. Lions were dumb not to take the penalty kick. 24-22. For the Griquas with 3 minutes to go, although the Lions I am seeing have got all of the ball at the moment. I'm getting confused. Can you do women's game and women's voice? Probably not. I don't know whether or not my streaming software has a voice changer at this point. And penalty kicks for the post for the Lions. So here's Patrick there. Nicely taken by France. Again, the rolling maul is set. That one's moving quite nicely. A bit of awkwardness going on in the middle of that line out. France trying to stop England from coming through the middle, and it looks like they may have just done it legally there, England. That ball might even end up on their side if they're not careful, but this one's going to be extremely tough for the French to be able to get it out, and England get themselves the scrum. Again, a massive moment where France just couldn't get that ball away. And Hamish with a woman's voice, says Ruth. France are so slow to the right, says Jeremy. And we see it here, Abby Ward, the one who managed to go through the middle. Meanwhile, the other lock, Telling, was actually occupying the French lock and then just went straight through. And yeah, just doing very nicely. We have got there Alliance 25-24 with 1 minute left. Looks like they might steal it at the death there, the Lions, for that game. Unless the Griquas can somehow manage to pull it back. But now, another scrum here for England. Already a quarter of the way through this contest. The English 5 metres out from their own line. So we'll take a little bit of a big push here. I use a voice mode, but you have to pay. Or we could just use our regular voice. We have there Griquas behind now. Says Rajana, what's the score? At the moment, the Lions are leading 25 points to 24 in what has been a brilliant Currie Cup game. Compared to what some were anticipating, that will be a scrum penalty going the way of England. Oh, okay. Interesting. We see there Amy Cocaine was given a bit of a wave to the French forward pack. So obviously a bit of bad feeling between these two sides. Of course, a close game in the Six Nations when they both played. 32-7 is my prediction, says Jameson. In last place, says Patrick. France will win, and how many minutes left for the Lions? They've only got 30 seconds left on the clock now. Now line out throw for the English. Cocaine gets it in. Nicely taken by England. Kicking it in behind. Around the halfway line. That one hung in the air for a little while at Ashton Gate, and now looking to run it back, but England getting 5 defenders straight up in the face of the French line. It's going to be a tricky one to be able to get an offload away, but she has done extremely well. Gets it to Vernier. Still relentless in every single breakdown, the Red Roses. Now another pick and go. Bordeaux. Sansus gets to the breakdown relatively late, but now backline out to the left-hand wing. Huge amount of pace being shown for France, looking for the offload, and ball is hung on to, but a good run from Kelly Arby initially to create the opportunity. Now another step there. Now around the side, Fell will go off to the right. Chance here to move it through the hands for France. Draw and pass out into the wide channel. Offload on the inside. It's beautifully done. Couple metres short of the try line, pick and go. And they will just be short out of every player out there on the field. The smallest one is the one who decides to go for the run at the line and gets smashed backwards by the forwards. But France on the verge of scoring. The Lions have just kicked the ball out and they have won the Carling Currie Cup on the other side of things. But now France, big dive there from the number 9, trying to milk the penalty again. That's the second time in this game that Bourdon Saint-Sus has got on the wrong side of the referee. Now passing off to the left-hand side again. Hang on, there's a TMO decision. The game might not be over. And that is close now for France. 1 metre out from the try line. Can they get themselves that ever-important try now? Go and pick and go once again. England stopping them just short of the line. I think this is where France almost have to consider shifting it just a little bit. Here it comes, the back line, and France score it over the line. Condé scores. The whole reserve bench runs onto the field to celebrate with her, but Condé scores it. And now France are back in the contest. Over there, Timo, where are you? England lapsing the maul. Brian Moore agrees. Says Mark Davis. Wait, not over to TMO getting involved. Yeah, it looks like it could be a deliberate knockdown here from the Lions. Or is it just called as a... Right, they're checking it here to see if it's a deliberate knockdown. It's a bit of a decision to be made there. That is, of course, in that Carling Curry Cup game. I believe it's actually going to end up being maybe a penalty to the Griquas there. But a nice bit of work. Hang on. We got a TMO check in the England versus France game as well here. Maybe for some sort of knock-on or something. Right, George Whitehead has a kick to win the game now for the Griquas, ladies and gents. So they might still have a chance of closing out that game with a victory. This kick is not taking place for the France-England game just yet, as they are waiting to find out whether or not there is something involved in one of the breakdowns. Right, they've cleared the try. It is all good. And they're going to restart the shot clock as well, just to make sure that they've got the right time there. That's bollocks, it was clearly in touch. So Whitehead gets the kick over, and the Griquas win the Curry Cup on the other side of things, ladies and gents. So a massive win for them there. Now the French, can they cause a massive underdog upset like we have seen in the Ranfurly Shield match for Otago, like we have seen for the Griquas in the Curry Cup? Now lining up this one, and just hooks it away to the left-hand side. And it means that the score will sit at 7 points to 5. But now we will go to the lone screen option, seeing as that Carling Curry Cup game is over. We'll go back here. And we will go here as well. But England versus France, it has started close. Just like a lot that we have seen. Now back underway. Calling both games legend, says Shane. And well done to Griquas. Yeah, massive win for them. They were expected to lose that game by a lot. So for them to even have the victory there is absolutely huge. And ding, 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 ringing my bell. Hamish commentary again. And now England managing to get themselves the scrum. Meg Jones has been involved in so many massive moments already throughout the early stages of the semi-final. GMOing in this World Cup has been a nightmare. Someone who doesn't watch the Curry Cup, could you explain the Griquas win in premiership terms? See, premiership's a tricky one to describe because it would pretty much be whoever does normally have England internationals having their England internationals, and a side with no England internationals wins type thing. About a $10 underdog. TM on the ref got it wrong. It should clearly. And touch try should have stood. Or shouldn't have stood. Says Scott there. Ridiculous of the TMO to get involved and have nothing, says iLollipop. Now, chance here. Natasha Hunt here for the English. They will be feeding this ball in. Trying to get themselves another big attack going. Now, they'll be frustrated that France have had so much of the possession in just the last little while. Going off to the right-hand side. Little pop pass up to Ellie Kildun, who will be taken down. But France, straight in the breakdown, get the steal. Both sides just so lethal in these breakdown situations. Instantly stealing it when needed. Close game, says Bad Dog, and France wins, says Promise. And also, women's rugby is slightly different to men's game, like more entertaining even. Says, wait, what? But now, big steal. We're going to see it now. Kildun tackled low first of all from Condé, who does manage to roll out of the way. Kildun got pumped, says Robert T, although she is one of the 2 try scorers in this game, and I don't doubt that she's got a chance getting one later on in this contest too. They've done well to shut her down with the exception of that try. Nicely taken. Baudon Sansus going away to the right-hand side here for France into the hands of Filou. Now Vernier, quick hands from France again into the wide channels. They are at the moment not playing like a side that are considered as the underdogs here. So they're playing like a side that are trying to take it to the very strong English side. Bottoman looking for the steal. She gets it. She holds out her hands and waits for the crowd to applaud her. It's a lot of, I want to call it passion, but also a lot of egos out there on the field at the moment, and they are going to be clashing throughout this whole 80 minutes. We see France, when they were celebrating, they were fired up. When England get it, you know, the posing to the crowd, asking them if they're not entertained. And okay, testing. Have I been banned now? Says, wait, what? Well, I don't think you have. We have to get a lot more tap and go in women's rugby. Makes it more lively and entertaining, says Jeremy. And now rolling more here for England again. Now moving this one quite nicely. And well done, the Griquas 55 years was a long way, a very long way for the Griquas. But to win it up against a side that was stacked with URC talent is even bigger, and that's a poor pass. Or at least it looked like a knock-on, right? They're going to have to check this one, because if it wasn't a knock-on, Tatiana Hurd has just scored that one, but I believe there was a first initial knock-on when Natasha Hunt tried to pass her the ball. But they just have to make sure this one's all right. Want to see Kildun's Cowboy Dance. Says a Blues Nate. Oh, sorry, that was wait, what? And Griquas is going to win. The Griquas have already won in that matchup. Right, on-field decision is try from the referee. But I do think that this was a clear knock-on from Tatiana Hurd initially. And come on, Les Bleus, says Helen there, and Timo wearing goggles. Right, we're going to see it now. Double knock-on. She actually knocked it on twice, and then knocked it into Natasha Hunt. Okay, it comes off 12 blue. Then it comes off 12 white. So I think they're actually going to call this as an English scrum here. Okay, they're just checking to see whether or not maybe there is a knock-on first here from France. How can the ref miss that? Well, she missed both of them. They're actually two in a row from Tatiana Hurd that she ended up knocking on. And it may have even brushed Natasha Hunt's hand as well. Or it brushed her arm on the way past. I'm an England fan, but they need a test. So happy France are bringing it. And not our full intentions can be on this game. Says Xander there. But yeah, that is a knock-on from Tatiana Hurd. I don't actually know if I'd call that a knock-on from the French player. It was more so in her hand and it got slapped out by Tatiana Hurd. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a French scrum 10 metres out from their own line. Okay, it's going to be no try. Blue scrum, so they do call it as going backwards off the French and then, of course, forward off England. So it will be no try for Tatiana Hurd, and the score still remains at 7 points to 5. France scrum okay then? Yeah, France have had a pretty solid scrum already throughout the early stages of this match as well, even though there's been a bit of back and forth between the forward packs. The thing is, I think the forwards are going to do the work up front, and that's when we're going to see the backs really get to thrive. Whoever does have that more physical kind of battling forward pack. This game is very close. It's great for a semi-final, I think. Absolutely. This is exactly what people want to see in a matchup. England, it's been talked about that they want to be tested. That is a massive push from the English forward pack, and the referee awards it to the English Roses. Get out of it, Bottoman. She's just gone right in the face of her opposite number, Bernardo. She pretty much tried to square up with her. Tell her everything that she did wrong. Now we have there. Did you hear the drama of the Currie Cup final? We did indeed. The last minute deliberate knock on from the Lions. They then ended up costing them a Currie Cup again. They actually had the same scenario last week, except it was the Sharks who managed to take it off them. Now 5 metre line out, Amy Cockayne. Ready to throw it in. Nicely taken. 5 metres out from the line for England as they look to get a rolling maul moving. Although France have come straight through the middle there with, I believe it is Brazeau. This one may not come out. I think she's got her hands all over this. Oh no, ball's popped out the back, much it just snuck out of the grasp getting spicy? Absolutely. These two sides seem like they do not like each other, which leads to some great rugby and another knock on from Tatiana Hurd. France now only just sitting out from their own line. There's only one Quaz, and that's the Griquois. Says Haino there. And also, OMG, the ball was knocked on by Belusi's mark. And Canada going to be salivating watching this battle of attrition. The crunch never disappoints. Now a kick downfield from France. That is advantage over for the knock on. Kill done. Chance to run this one. 22 metres out the line. Passes on the outside to Tatiana Hurd, who has hung on to it this time. Tackled low by... It is a Kahihangi, I believe, in that number 5 jersey. Now, bounce pass out to Breach. She's done well. That is a forward pass. Transfer of the ball going in front of her. England just look like they're a little bit, I wouldn't say shaky, but there's a bit of wobbliness going on at the moment in terms of the decision making for this English side. And we have got their 55-year wait. And play on red, that was not forward, says Scott. And there's also, we're going to see the replay here. Breach, she did end up, Kabaya, that is actually just like a little netball or basketball pass that you go ahead to your teammate there. And if Canada play the same way they did against the Ferns, they are clearly going to win, says Robert T. Yeah, I have to say, France have made a good turnaround. Last week they looked a little bit shaky. But at the moment, they are doing exactly what they needed to here, and that is being aggressive and trying to take it to England. England have won their last 31 matches, a record for any men's or women's side. They're continuing to bring the intensity here. Now scrum once again, wheeling around a little bit. Ball is available this time for France. Sitting just the 10 metres out from their line, and it will be kicked off the left boot of Arbeez, going up for a chest breach. Takes it well, but is tackled just as good. Natasha Hunt, through the hands of England. Another knock on. Few nervous hands out there at the moment, and a clean steal and a breakdown from Les Bleus. Now Baudon Sansus going off to the left-hand side, looking for the 50-22. Massive space in behind. Can they get another one? No, the ball cuts back inwards. Kildun takes it. She's going to try and run it out. Little chip in behind. Finds space in behind France, but now taken well round the halfway line by Ménager. Now 40 metres out. This game's being played at a crazy pace for the start of this match. Now Giron to the left-hand side again here for France. Going to shift it there a little bit wider. Tatiana Hurd going in a bit too high there for that collision. She's had a bit of a rough start to this game, Hurd. I feel like all it will take is one ball to stay in their hands, though, for it to be able to completely change. Rick was with the first recipient of the Currie Cup, says Clinton. Little kick behind from England after a drop ball from France to go backwards. There will be the French line out now. No hat about Canada. They didn't give a penalty till the 61st minute. That's just clinical, says Robert T. Yeah, they did extremely well in terms of being able to defend. It was actually ripped away by Maud Muir and did boot it in behind the tight head prop. They'll know about Canada now. It's maybe not such a surprise. Says, wait, what? And it's interesting because we did actually see Canada go head-to-head up against the English last World Cup. So just a bootlace being done up here for one of the French forwards. Yeah, we'll get that final of 2022. It was England versus Canada 26-19. Back on the 5th of November 2022. New Zealand up against the French was 25-24. So we could actually see a couple rematches of the semi-finals now as the final and the bronze final for this Women's World Cup competition. Now, France actually got beaten by Canada. France beat Canada 36-0. So that was kind of where we saw Canada. The wind was taken out of their sails after losing, but they have not lost yet throughout this World Cup competition. Now, kicked in behind, partially charged down by Meg Jones, but it makes it easier. Ball on the inside is so open, but she decides to avoid it, and that is a terrible pass from Ménager. That should have been a certain try for France, but just got a little bit greedy rather than pass into the quicker lady on the inside. And she will know that that was a chance that goes begging. In fact, she may not even know at this point in time. But that was wide open out wide. Able to go with that pass on the inside. Just right there was when that pass had to happen. But she didn't pass it. She took contact and then passed it too far out in front of the French number 7, Champon, who had enough pace should be able to match you there. France is so frustrating to watch. There's Jeremy. Should be allowed to win based on national anthems alone. And forward pass there's Scott. And well, how did French not try that? Yeah, it was a big mistake from Ménager. And yeah, that's the type of one that you look back on after a close game and go, oh, should have passed. Because that seemed like a certain try on the inside. Looks like a little bit of an injury here. So just sorting out the leg at the moment. And we have got there so far for Ménager. She's had 5 carries, 50 metres made, and the 2 line breaks the stage of the match. Let's go France, says Brett. And French keep it going. Let's go France, says Dirch there. Imagine that. I keep thinking back to it, right? Imagine France and Canada in the final. England, New Zealand, the final from last World Cup as the 3rd place playoff game. That would be crazy. But it just shows how quickly, these playoff games can affect the draw overall. Canada, they did come in as 2nd ranked. So the top 4 sides in the world actually came through as the semi-finalists. So in that regard, the draw was done very well. And Greek was the Currie Cup champions. A heartbreak for the Lions for the 2nd year running. Greek won't be complaining. Greek have to wait 55 years. A French flair before it's too late. Don't arm wrestle. Says Shane there too. But both sides just getting a little bit of a drinks break here. 34 minutes through the first half. It has been going extremely quickly. We have got there something in French, which sadly I do not know. We have got their respect there, and then also sport. Those are the 2 words that I do know. Now line out throw here for Giron. Proud moment for the Griquas, and I want France to win, but they are 2 good teams. And in Canada, we want a rematch of the 2014 final. So come on, the English. So here's AJ. Now rolling maul here for France. They have currently scored themselves 1 throughout this first half, but another one here would be absolutely massive. That maul moving nicely, breaking off the back was Bernardo. Back across again to the hands of Fall. Now Champon. Although Sansus popping it up again to Escudero. And that's going to be close. 5 metres out from the line now for the French. Meg Jones lurking around the breakdown. She loves getting those steals in the crucial moments. But for now, the Red Roses just have to defend. Off to the right. Brazeau. Now 3 metres from the try line. Popping it up quickly. Good recycling of the ball from the French. Bounadou again gets the carry. So many numbers to the right-hand side. Wide cut-out pass. France will score it. And they will take the lead in the semi-final. Ménager gets her try. Oh, it was a forward pass. No try. The French, I'm not even sure if they realise at this point the pass is called as forward. Oh, it's not the most forward pass you'll see. We saw that one between Australia and Argentina was forward by a mile more, but it's been ruled out. That just needed to be through the hands there. That's rather than the wide cutout pass. And France likes to bite. And we have got there, no, says Vic and Vern. And there's, oh, that's unfair, says Xander. No way, says Brett in there. Let's go France, says Dirch. Yeah, disallowed try for the French. Would have been in the perfect position heading into the second half with a nice little lead to go with them. That is not going to be the case now. Big scrum from England, who get themselves another penalty. Hannah Bottoman finding it hard to celebrate there as she had cocaine actually on her head, which is her teammate. A little bit more push and shove between the front row as the boot has come off for Rose Bernardo. Now, she was having a bit of trouble with that boot earlier on. And it sounds like a very close game. Absolutely. It is right on the verge of either side being able to score a majority of the time. I got $700 on the Mighty French to win at 13. Come on, France. Says Joshua. And I was like, Vic and Vernon, no, hello. Nice. Oh, guys, nice you're here. And I was like, come on, England, says Nick. And there, and sounds like a very close game, says Nick. Yeah, at the moment, it is a pick 'em. Either of these sides have got a great chance. France actually given away 6 penalties throughout the early stages of this match, compared to the 2 of the English. Bernardo again. Okay, Referee just saying there, keep your shoe on your foot to the French prop. Now, I'm not sure if she's doing it on purpose. I think she's just got the wrong size shoe for this one. But they are just saying maybe it is a tactic to slow down the play a little bit more. She's got a whole heap of strapping on that boot. Congratulations to the Griquois for winning the Currie Cup. Massive win for the Griquois. Definitely with how it ended. And the fact that the Lions, that's now 2 years in a row that they have had the win up until the 80th minute to then lose it. It's got to be absolutely heartbreaking. But the fact that they had the URC side stacked in as well, I feel like that just makes it that much bigger for the Griquois. Come on, England, be careful because they bite. Says Bernie there. Now rolling maul. Sitting 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Natasha Hunt going away now and behind. Big driving tackle. Loose ball picked up by France now. And again, the English coherentness of their backline or that cohesion just isn't quite there. Let's go France. There's Dersh. They are in a good position on the park again. Now firing it away. Bourdon Sansus. And only 15 metres from the try line. Come on, England. Says Ian there. Now back across to the right-hand side. Big collision there for Bernardo and the steal and the breakdown from England again. Bottomans putting her fingers up saying that's now 3 for me. She is definitely letting the crowd and the French know how she's going in this game. Now, no, she didn't support her body weight. Says Robert T and French stealing it. Now chance here to kick for the corner, or at least for the touchline, I should say, sorry, for Zoe Harrison. Let's go high. Does go into touch. Currently 2 minutes remaining in this first half period. We're looking for the steal, but Bottoman over the ball. Now, Cocaine ready to throw this one in, and it's almost stolen by the French, but Cocaine just about manages to rip it back. England managed to have their ball on the halfway line. Huge collision there, running straight at Rose Bernardo. Now into the breakdown, this time for France. 2 cleanouts on Kiran, who might have hurt her neck in the process of that clean, but France get the penalty in the breakdown. This time it is Leah Champon who does get it back. Now, this is a game, it has been phenomenal for the first 38 and a half minutes. And you know a game's good when 38 and a half minutes pass and you don't even feel like it's been 20. Come on, France, let's get this game, says Dirch. But again, kicking towards the sideline here for the French. And just going into touch. That was about maximum meters that we could have seen from Carla Arbiz there. Just locking over the ball. French and English don't like each other. It's obvious. You see them out there on the field. There's a lot of tension between the two front rows just for one reference point. I think the halfbacks are having a bit of a back and forth every once in a while as well. But now, ready for the line-out. How's our Hamish? Thanks as always for your commentary. Kids and I watching. Our teenagers tolerating Dad. Says David, so it is greatly appreciated having you here. The ball's stolen back by England. But it came to that line-out, but onto the ball for France. There was the initial knock-on, so it will be the scrum feed England with 30 seconds remaining in the first half. Over there, let's go France, says Sam there. And go England, says David, and also the French flags from Kevin there as well. And over under 37, I'll let you decide, here. And we have got the croissant versus scones, let's go, says Robert T. See, all mentioning of food's going to do is make me hungry. These rugby teams don't like each other. Genuinely, the French love us, says Nick. And also, Les Le Bleu, says Ruth there too. But currently just past the 40-minute siren, which does mean that England, with where they are on the field, they may look to just put this ball out unless they can get a big push at scrum time. That might be the difference maker. And that one's gone sideways. I think France all but won that penalty in the breakdown. They've told to get out of there for Filiu. Now, back into the pocket. England kick it out. And that is half-time, ladies and gentlemen. 7 points to 5, the score in this one. So extremely close between the two teams. And there are still 40 minutes of all-out pacey rugby to be played later on today. We've also got that game, Chile versus Samoa. That's a Rugby World Cup qualifier around the corner for those two sides. And then the Pacific Nations Cup. So we've still got another probably about 7 or so hours of commentary. But this second half is going to be very impressive. I can't watch the match, but how would you rate defence for both squads, says it here. It's been solid enough so far throughout this matchup, although there have been some gaps opening up too. We have got there Go England, says Harriet. And also, let's roast these frogs. I think that is from Paul. And also, we have got there Griquas. Yeah, massive win for the Griquas. And also, we'll end in a draw, says Dirch there. And Go France, says Johan Hussen. There's still a lot of important moments later on. Winner of this plays Canada, right? Correct, yes. So we will go like this. And with a little bit of luck, I should be able to show the draw in terms of what will be happening just around the corner. Where is it? New Zealand versus, we need Canada, we need that one, and we need this one. If I click this, with a little bit of luck, there we go. There it is. So semi-final one loser, that is New Zealand. So they will face the loser of this contest. That is the early game for 3rd and 4th, taking place at 11:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And then the final will be at 4 a.m. New Zealand time between Canada and the winner of this matchup. One moment, I am about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute. We are good. But yeah, much closer, I think, than some people were anticipating for this matchup in terms of the scoreline. Neither side taking that backward step, both trying to be extremely physical up front. We've seen that at scrum time already. But yeah, it will be intriguing. See what happens in the second 40 minutes. We also have to remember two very decent benches as well for these two sides. We will put them up on the screen as well. Just one moment. We'll click here. We'll click there. There we go. That's what we're after. So the benches in this matchup for the French. Some decent options. Now, I will mention that RB initially, I think, was going to be off the bench, but instead she is in the starting side. I believe they had a little bit of a reshuffle. They've got Okemba there, Marker there as well. And overall, just a very strong late injection going to be coming here. For Les Bleus, for the English, they've got some great options. Helena Rowland, Holly Aitchison, so a lot of experience across those back replacements. And that's the kind of thing that you need in a game like this that is so close and could go easily either way. You want to have someone who's been there, done that. This English side, of course, they do play a game very deep. We've seen that throughout their Women's World Cup so far. They've had a massive amount of points that they have been able to score, and I don't think that the second half will be any different if they just start to find that rhythm and get that little bit more clinical as well. These are the games that we're seeing from England. As you can see, their lowest points in any match has been 40, and that was up against the Scottish in the quarterfinal. The exception of that, though, 47-7 up against Australia, 92-3 up against Samoa, and that big win in the first match up against the USA, 69 points to the 7 for the French, 24-0 in the game up against the Italians. Then they beat Brazil by a comfortable margin of 84-5. We saw a close quarterfinal for them, but a good win over the South Africans in the game prior. But I actually think, to be honest, that game was needed for the French because that was almost that wake-up call, if that makes sense. They almost went into that game maybe expecting to win by a big margin. Ireland pushed them for a majority of that game. In fact, Ireland were leading for quite a bit of that contest, and France found a way to win in the end. And perhaps that just told them, look, we've got to shore up a few things. We've got to get it a bit more right, because if they do, it can be extremely dangerous. I see that we've got 30 messages that have come through just in the time that we were away looking at those two. But we have got Curry Cup might be over, but the URC starts next Friday with a blockbuster match between the Stormers and Leinster. Yep, that one is going to be a pretty awesome one. We have there, Hamish, like a rocket, 5 games today. There are indeed 5 matches that we will be covering back to back to back. And very close game between France and England, says Liam. And also back to the vodka bottle, making as if it's water again, says Xander. The bookies didn't think it would be this close. Absolutely not. I think that they expected a pretty one-sided type of affair between these two sides. What I do want to quickly do is check what they're thinking now. Currently, the way that it sits for France to win this game, they are an $8 underdog in this match up against the English. Hi, everybody tuning in, says Bruce. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Where can I see the actual match, please, says Nath. Depending on where you are in the world will depend on your option, but I do highly recommend checking out the Women's World Cup website. It tells you the free-to-air options depending on where you are in the world, as well as the paid broadcaster options too. They're just showing their tackles missed. 10 missed by both of these sides. But England have made an extra 70 or so tackles than what France did. France made 611 metres. They had 9 offloads, but they conceded double the penalties of this English side as well. Ref needs to start penalising French for their hands in the ruck. And Breach's defensive fragility is telling. She repeatedly blitzed because she's scared of contact. She needs replacing. Says Paul. Yes, that's the thing. She's such a dangerous option when it comes to attacking. But then when it comes to that defence, she does sometimes get a little bit caught out. You should have some time or halftime snacks available for you. I suggest jellied eels, frog legs, escargot, and black pudding. I'd love to extend your culinary universe, says Ron. And also we have got there from Mike. I'm a bit torn, not sure who I want to win this game. Love to see France win, just to stick it to England. We've been all thinking they won the World Cup already, but I would prefer for the France to play third and fourth playoff. And players get a break with refreshments, but your mum's, I'm guessing, gone to bed. So no snacks for Hamish, says Lawrence. Yes, she is well and truly asleep. 3:30 a.m. here in New Zealand. Up the roses, our English team is the best of all. So many mistakes from the French. Bottoman is on all fronts. Yeah, and she's been telling France how good she is as well. She's been right up in the face. Her last penalty she won, she put up the 3 and said, I've won 3 of those already. And that is actually as many as France have won throughout this whole game. And okay, Hamish, what's your prediction for the second half? Now that I've seen the first half, I'm expecting one of these two sides to slow down. Big time. But I don't know who. You know, France, for instance, in their game up against the Irish, they actually had to speed it up a little bit at times to try and finish it off and win it for that quarter final. We've seen the penalty counts actually changed now. They've actually got 7-2 down the bottom as the official count. 13 penalties being awarded so far for England. France should have had 2+ tries, but they refused to pass the ball next to the try line. Sounds a bit selfish. I absolutely agree. There were multiple chances where France should have scored. First one was the nice inside ball for Ménager. All she had to do was pass it to Champon and she would have won the foot race. The other option was the wide cutout pass. See, they're showing it there. Should have passed it. And could have been a certain try. And then that wide cutout pass, rather than just shifting it through the hands, that's the other big risk. So we've actually seen 2 tries that could have been scored that France weren't able to get either. Now, those type of points are crucial in a game up against the English. They don't give away too many free opportunities to score points. So that's when they really needed to get it right. Actually, doesn't matter who wins. After last night, Canada, a good bet to go all the way, says Mike. And 9,100 return if France win off 700. Come on, woohoo. So here's Joshua there. Actually doesn't matter who wins. So did you just back them now, Joshua, I assume? Because currently in the odds, they are $8 underdogs. So that would be roughly about right, wouldn't it? In that regard. Yeah, they are not a mile away. In England, the question is, will they keep on making the same mistakes that they made throughout that first half, or will they start to find their rhythm? And if they do find that, I do think they'll be hard to beat. Blackfirds versus England, please, Lord, says Shane. So that would mean that England and New Zealand are playing off for third, whereas France and Canada would be playing off for the win of that World Cup. And France needs to pass the ball to someone who can put the points on, says Brett. And at the moment, I mean, Conde, the only lady who's been able to score pre-game, says Joshua. Just talking about the ferocity, I should say, of this matchup. The Griquas players were in tears when the final whistle had blown. Also, the moment that lifted the Curry Cup, says Monet, and rightfully so. Like, they thoroughly deserved that win. And, you know, the reason we stopped doing that stream was because we thought it was going to be one-sided. We initially thought we'd be fine to pop over to this stream. Little did we know that they were going to have such a crucial few moments in the remainder of that game and end up winning it. I don't know whether or not because we stopped covering, maybe that helped them out. I don't think it would have, but sometimes people say we jinx teams, so maybe in that case we did help them out. That was a quick fire sneeze. I tried to get off to the side and it already hit me before I even moved. Coach is kicking some butt in that dressing room, says Ruth. Yeah, I think that the England coach will probably be more frustrated than the French coach. France have had some good chances, and if anything, France probably take a little bit of stick here for not being clinical. Whereas if you are the English, you know you're the favourites by a big margin heading into this game. You know that you were able to beat them in a warm-up contest of the World Cup by a big margin. Yet they just have more handling errors than we've seen almost throughout their whole Rugby World Cup competition. We have there. I was 9 years old when the Greek was won the Curry Cup in 1970. They beat the Blue Bulls and Frick Dupree. As you turned your back on the Currie Cup right at the final, says Xander. Well, to be fair, Sky turned their back on the Currie Cup in the semi-final when they didn't show it, unfortunately. They didn't show the Buildup versus Lions game, although it was probably a good thing because that game was pretty one-sided. One moment, we're about to sneeze again, so we'll very quickly mute. We are good. Bad mentality and no fair play like the man, the referee like Nigel Owen. Just looking at the French team to penalties from England, says David. I've got the France is going to win the whole thing, says Sam Greer. And also I read that one about the 9 years old. Bless you, says here. Yeah, we had a pretty bad hay fever today, unfortunately. Very unfortunate timing. And we have got the off topic. Do you think the Eden Park record could fall when the Wallabies or the ABs play the Wallabies next week? Hard to say. I'll be honest, it depends on how New Zealand fire back. You'd think that they had already lost the streak the way that the public are treating the team. But, it's whether or not they can just get their heads back in the game. Realise that first half wasn't that bad up against the South Africans, and it was just the second half where they fell apart. They can play an 80-minute game of rugby. They can find themselves winning that game at Eden Park. You want some of your mo-off, Hamish? Says, wait, what? And also, bless you, Hamish. Says Ruth. And there as well. But the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel, it is kicking off in around 4 hours' time, ladies and gentlemen. Should be an entertaining game between, it will be Samoa and Chile. This time next week, the Springboks playing Argentina at Durban. I know you can't wait until next week. So here's Mono the Greys. Yeah, it should be intriguing. The Rugby Championship wide open at the moment. All the sides have an opportunity to be able to win, depending on who makes the most of their chances and who does walk away with the victories. They got an ad for a sausage sizzle at the moment, and now I really want a sausage and a bit of bread. But sadly, they don't really sell that at 3:30 a.m. here in New Zealand. Not at least in the region that I'm in. But second half, I would say, is probably about 2 minutes away from starting up. Clearly, that's debatable. Says Shane there. I think it's going to be high scoring for the second half. I think that we're probably going to see a little bit more than we saw in the first. For sure, we're going to win, says David. Is that the New Zealand one or the England here? You're doing great, Hamish. Rugby World Cup takes precedence over Currie Cup. Bravo. Women's sport getting the airtime and respect it deserves. Thank you. Says Michael there. Yeah, the biggest tricky one is next week. Because that Rugby Championship Springboks Argentina does overlap with the final. I'm frequently trying to find someone to cover the Currie Cup, or sorry, not the Currie Cup, the Women's World Cup final for us. But it's been a hard task. We've had a lot of no's so far, unfortunately, in terms of covering options. Are you covering a body? Body fours on a bun, says Xander. Or even just in a bit of bread, picking a blanket, as they call it here in New Zealand, would go all right. In fact, the fact that I am up all night means that I actually could go to the supermarket tomorrow, well, this morning, maybe get something. We have there listening, sitting poolside in Morocco, willing our Red Roses on to win, says Dale there. And before the Rugby Championship, the URC starts next Friday, a blockbuster between Stormers and Leinster. There's Mono the Grange, but the two sides now making their way out of the tunnel. They are ready to go for this matchup. There is a lot of pressure on this English side. A lot of people booking their tickets for the final because they assumed England would be in it. They are currently in the lead by 2 points. But is that the way it's going to stay? The end of this one. They need to stop singing Sweet Chariot. Never ends well, says Robert T. Let's go France, says Brett. The chances of a team winning the Kiwis at Eden Park is basically 0, says Gaspar. And there too. Right. Have they told Menager that she has to pass the ball? Because if they have, France will be dangerous in this half. They need to play as a team. It's something that England have done so well at times. Let's go the Roses, says Harriet there. She is going for the English to book the final at Twickenham. And now, it's going to be kicked off here from England left to right, the way that they are going for this one. And we are back underway. If this half goes anywhere near as quick as the first half did, this game's going to be over in about 5 minutes. Outside of the 22, Bourdon Sansus Going back now into the pocket for Carla Arbis, who kicks it off her left boot. Nicely taken by Zoe Harrison round the halfway line. Kildun thought about a 50-22 attempt, but instead takes a hard collision there. Now, passing off to the left-hand side, to the hands of Hurd, enlisting in a hotel in Muscat, England, to smash them in the second half. Says RH Vids. On Friday, I saw the big green Springbok bus. Says Brian. Now, they'll be doing a little bit of a tour around the area, I think, before their rugby championship game. Meg Jones ball on the outside. Kildun nicely delaying the pass to the hands of Abby Dow. Now another chance for the steal, unsuccessful in that venture. Running onto it, huge carry. Offload there for Bottoman in open space. She will try and bump off the fullback. Now, Natasha Hunt, this is where England can be so dangerous, starting to move this ball around for fun, but in the breakdown, France looking for the steal, told to get out of it. Hunt goes back across to the right-hand side again to Tailing. Now across to Muir. Oh, little pop pass there for England. That is something they did throughout the first half at times. Sometimes just not quite linking up the way that they would have liked. 10 metres out, turns into 5. Natasha Hunt, lobby pass to Muir, who's driven backwards in a big colliding tackle with Brazo. Bottoman now tackled there too. Pick and go. Natasha Hunt, Meg Jones, quick hands, nicely done for England. Brilliant body position from, I believe it was Abby Dowell. The French are all calling for a knock on here. Oh, it's called as a forward pass. So it's not even going to be cheap for a knock-on because they are going back, and that is another disallowed try on this near side of the field. It is now 1 apiece for these two sides. We're going to see it now. Yeah, that is forward. Maybe from Ellie Dunn. What's the time on the game, Kiwi, so I can sync my game to yours, says Green Tea. So at the moment, my clock has stopped, but as soon as it starts back up, I'll let you know. But yeah, currently at 42-12, but waiting for the scrum to take place. Now it's flat, says Robert T. An opportunity for the Kiwi G for girls and the women, says Michael. And there are more people at the Borland game, club promotion game, rather than the Curry Cup final, 36-32 at the moment, says I Lollipop. And now time is back on, so I am sitting at 42 minutes and 17 seconds. That's where I'm sitting now. And check it, says Ruth. So yeah, 2 forward passes on this near side of the field. Both of the sides getting very close. Not quite finishing it off. 4 passes too many, says Ruth. What do you think of the opener between the Stormers and Leinster? Do you have the Stormers have a chance of upsetting? It depends, because really, they are going to be missing their big guys because of Springbok duty, which does make it a little bit easier, you would think, for Leinster. But game has taken place in South Africa, so that is one big bonus. Now, sitting just 20 metres out from the try line. In fact, less than that. Thank you, says Green Tea. No worries at all. So yeah, just again, 43 minutes now just passed. For myself, now Bourdon Sensus. Rolling this one back. And does kick this one up high. Chasing after it. Not quite able to get to it was Arby. Now Natasha Hunt 40 metres out from the line for the Red Roses. They still lead by 2. Those extra crucial points could be absolutely massive as this match does wear on. But a hesitation there for Zoe Harrison. Not quite sure whether she wanted to go for the pass on the outside. France in the breakdown, and they win the penalty. See there, Aldroff yelling at the ref, saying that they were still in the breakdown. Are these guys watching the game and also commentating? What the hell? Says Milbay there. You should always score more to make the refs null and void. Says, wait, what? They've decided to take that one quickly there for France. It'll pop on the inside. Ball to Arby up to the halfway line as she collides with Kabaya. Now 36 minutes remaining now in the semi-final. It is split by 2. There was a close game in the Six Nations earlier on. Beautiful shovel on the outside. Another offload. Vernier gets a one more, but a big tackle made by Meg Jones. She could be an absolute key for the way that this side is playing. Now Sansus going back now, kicked him behind, looking for a 50-22 for France, but the ball steeply bounces to Ellie Kildun. She does kick that one into touch. Can't wait for the 7th season to start. I know you're going to cover it when it starts, says Mornay. We absolutely are. And we have got their France should have been a penalty. England for French hands in the ruck, says Scott. And we have got their game too close to call. Yeah, at the moment it is back and forth here between the sides. But yeah, some brilliant offloading coming from France in terms of just allowing that momentum of the tackle there. And then another big shot from Meg Jones, just willing to take out the legs. Now sitting about maybe, I would say, 30 metres from the try line. It's like a bit of an injury here. Okay, England are just asking that question. Well, we've got to stop asking the ref whether or not maybe there was a player in the breakdown where she shouldn't have been. Still 35 minutes on the clock now. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. A $1,000 bar tab on tomorrow from 5 p.m. onwards. First and first served at the sin bin, lower hut, and France wins, says Joshua. And French are doing fine, says Ruth. And there as well. You see, we aren't quite in Lower Hutt. We're in the wrong island. But we do accept donations, Joshua. Goal number 2, haircut dude, says Millbay. Yeah, it was a forfeit. South Africa managed to beat New Zealand on New Zealand soil, and we hit a light goal, so the hair came off. And that is how it will stay until it grows back. But Kildun, little kicker behind there. France inside of their own 22. Close to the sideline. She may have chosen the wrong way to run there. Oh, Kildun. Little bit of afters there and the push and shove there. And Kildun is shushing the opposition player, even though Kildun started it. Oh, the French number 9 going like this. She's doing a bit of the antlers. They're both going at each other. And some G's, that play still around. And nice Joshua says, wait, what? We have got our bold prediction. Canada will beat any of these teams in the final, says Johan. Yeah, a bit of attitude between these two sides. And you can tell that it's also frustration. What platform do you watch these games on? Well, you do watch it on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. Sadly, it is a paid subscription service. We're now rolling more here for the English. Getting close now, just a few metres out from the try line of the French. And this could be a crucial moment if they can keep this one moving in the right direction. Natasha Hunt, she's telling the forwards to just keep on pushing this one forward, breaking off and scoring it for Cocaine. And she is fired up for this Red Roses side. And France have to win this. Can't stand England winning anything, says Robert, although they've now got themselves that bit more of a lead. 3 Rugby World Cup tries for Cocaine here. And that was soft, says Sam. Just making those easy meters. I felt like maybe France shouldn't have been willing to run it over the sideline there. Rather maybe cut inwards, try and create the opportunity of a kick downfield. Because worst case scenario, you give away a penalty and they take either the 3 or go for the corner anyway. But the finish there. Yes, Allures, England. That kick has gone over now, making it score 14 points to 5, making it that little bit more challenging for France to be able to get back into this game. That game to the Kiwi lads. I refuse to pay for all 5, 6, 7, 8 streaming services that I need to be able to watch rugby in the USA, says Justin. Out of curiosity, Justin, do you have Paramount Plus? Because if you do, this World Cup is actually on there. Now, of course, if you don't, then it is a paid subscription. But I know someone had Paramount Plus and didn't realise it was on Paramount Plus that we were talking to. All drop ball from England. And the ball goes into touch. So a bit of an early handling error there off kickoff. Now it gives France the chance to be able to get that line out going. I want an all-French final. And come on, France, don't do this, says Sam Greer. And also we have got there the Roses. Try. Says Ruth there too. Now 20 metres out from the try line. Another chance to be able to add another try in this game. And to be fair to France, they did score relatively quickly after England did in the first half. So this would be the time to do it. But old Roth trying to get through the middle. She's just trying to make a nuisance of herself and trying to create a bit of disruption. And the rolling ball for the French, breaking off the back now, and drop ball goes backwards. And it's an advantage for a high shot. Now running. Oh, that was almost another high shot from Abby Ward this time. Back across to the left-hand side. Now sitting 22 metres out from the line, Baudon Sansu deciding that she wants to go left. France have used their back line well at times. Advantage was over. says Scott Bowie there. And also we got England, and they will go back now for the initial penalty in favour of the French. I want that all-French final. And England over this. And the maul proving a dangerous weapon again. So a long way to go. We need one streaming service in North America. Rugby lover, please. Says Millbay. They kick this one into touch. Visits to the opposition 22. France have visited 10 times, but they have only walked away with 5 points, averaging 0.5 points per visit. England have had 6 visits, averaging 2.3 points per visit. France doesn't make it easy for England. Canada is quietly confident of winning the whole tournament. Now thrown in. Nicely taken at the front. The rolling maul for France makes a couple early meters, but then it often ends up hitting a bit of a wall with England's defence. Looks like it could be a little bit the same here. Now Baudon Sansu going across there into the midfield. Vernier gets back up, has another go. Almost looked like a tackle off the ball from England. Baudon Sansu offloading it up against Dugerin. Sitting just the 10 metres out from the line, looking to call the forwards in now for a couple pick and goes, trying to make those extra metres. Now again, pick and go, 2 extra metres there. That is 2 carries in a row with a post-contact being an extra 1 or 2. I believe that France, their plan will just be to work away, get towards a penalty advantage. Baudon Sansu, now backline, Meg Jones, beautiful one-on-one tackle. It was a forward pass, but they'll go back for another penalty in favour of the French. That was the tackle off the ball. We did mention not too long ago. France may just consider the quick tap here. I would be throwing the big number 4. Fall at the line. Okay, it looks like they are going for that tap and go option. And get a try, France, come on, says Brett. With all the immigrants spewing out of England, France to England, I think the Roses would like to make a statement in this game. Says Lawrence. But now off to the left-hand side. Now another attack and run. Ménager. Still 5 metres. And this will be probably one of the most frustrating periods for France of this game if they can't cross here and get the try very soon. Another tackle on fall. Big 2. Driving woman tackle there. France still that 5 metres out. Now Baudon Sansu going across now to Brazeau. You can see how badly they want that try. It's just a wall of the defence every single time. And Power says Ruth. 29 minutes remaining. Big collision in the breakdown. Still 5 metres out. In fact, moving now to 3. Chance here for the French. Chance to reach out. Get back into this game. Baudon Sansu going to use her backline this time. Nicely shoveled on. This has to be a try. And Arabi scores it. Just had to keep her feet off the ground. And does manage to get the try. France can't even control its own borders. Says, we've got there from Cameron. It's getting political there. Forward pass. Says Scott, let's go France. And Energy says Sister Korea. But nicely finished. It was close to the corner. And Kelly Arby does manage to finish it off. There was no shushing coming from Kildun there. Just more so frustration from her teammates. Hang on. Was that the TMO having a look, or was that a warning maybe for the English? I think that might be a warning for the amount of infringements that they have given away. England. It is. They lost twice, says Sister. We have there. Well, it's still on, says, wait, what? And try, says Ruth. Yeah, this game getting close. A very important kick right near the sideline. Not an easy one. But Bourgeois does bring it around beautifully. Gets it over. And makes the score now 14 points to 12. That is absolutely crucial, those extra points, because that now puts them within the 3 of a potential kicking chance. Now, I look at the odds here. $5.50 underdogs here for the French. I believe that is about as high in this match as they have been. So, tells you maybe momentum starting to go their way, but we see a couple changes now being made by the English. Allez la France, says Sylvie there. What a nail-biter of a game, says Brett. In there as well. And now kicked high, nicely taken again by the French now. For a bit of a counter-ruck there from Natasha Hunt. There's potential heading towards one of the best matches of the whole tournament. Had a couple great ones already. South Africa, Italy comes to mind. USA versus England. Even Ireland versus France last week for closeness was right up there too. Now backline movement going out wide. Cutting back in. Massive fend off from Mijer, but that was a bit high. I believe maybe it could be Vernier might have to go off the field for an HIA here. She looked a little bit wobbly with that collision. Come on, France, finish them off. There's Leon now, offload up again for the French. Another offload, still keeping the ball alive. And that is where France have been so dangerous. The most offloads out of any side throughout this Women's World Cup. Arby into the wide channel. She gets wrestled out. I believe they'll go back for the initial penalty. England line-out ref should have called advantage over way long ago, says Scott. And even me, the handling on the French side, says Robert T. We see there an all-new front row. Bottoman, Cocaine, and Muir all going off for the English. I don't think France have made those switches as of yet. They may not be a mile away from them. Like they're saying, just a little bit of a silence around the ground at the moment. But a surprise, I think, with the way that France have been able to take it in this contest and really try and be competitive. We saw the warm-up game between these two sides. It was not close. But in the Six Nations game earlier on in the year, 43 points to 42. France versus England at Twickenham. We did see England get themselves quite a good start in their match. 31 points to 21 was the halftime score. And then we did see them with a 43-28 lead. But then France scored twice late. Not straight. Call there for France. And it's the first throw, unfortunately, for the replacement hooker, who hasn't quite got it well. Has any women's team harassed the referee as much as these English women? We've seen quite a few talking back to the referees throughout this competition. Now, not many, I think, have been warned as much as they should have been. You know, there's many times that I think teams could have easily been marched forward 10, and that would have sorted out a lot of the sides talking back straight from the get-go. While that passing from France, and France is going to take it in the last minute. Says Casper. Yeah, they scored 2 converted tries in the last 10 minutes of the last time that they played England. If it's tied in 80 minutes, is it sudden death overtime? I think so. I think you go to golden point. Or, in fact, no, it probably would be just extra time in general, so probably 20 minutes of extra time. And if it's still tied, they probably go to a kickoff, I would think. Unless, of course, it's based off what teams did in the group stage. That is also another option that we sometimes see. The chance for England at the moment going around the ground. Draw says Dirch and Viva la Blues. Still 24 minutes left in what has been a great semi-final thus far. A lot closer than New Zealand versus Canada was. It's still anyone's game. The final moments of this contest. Allures England, says Scott there. Now big push from the English. New forward pack making all the difference in the front. And they have now got themselves the penalty advantage. Kildun looking to pass this one on the outside, or at least considered it. Instead, we'll go with a little chip in behind. It's covered by the French, and they will go back for the initial penalty. And just tuned in, the score is closer and lower. I'd have better at this point in the game, says Kiwi. No, after extra time, it's a bake-off. Says, wait, what? And that's the tight head going down in the front row for the French scrum penalties. 4-0 against France in this one. There's one part of their game that they surely will not be happy with from this semi-final, and you just wonder, had they been able to take that out of their game, how different could this scoreline look? And have no time for England choose king or queen, not their country. Says Purple there, and somebody needs to get over the line, says Ruth, and it could be coming very soon. I don't think we're a mile away from seeing another try scored here in the matchup. England throwing that ball, and that's not straight. And that will now be France's scrum opportunity. Wait, it's... okay, my apologies. It was not straight, but it was an early lift from the French. I didn't realise there was such a thing as an early lift. I thought it was just you went when you thought you were ready for the opposition to throw it, but Kildun now getting wrestled down about 30 metres out from the try line. Back to the right-hand side now. Quick hands from England into the wide channel. Chance for Abby. Down she sits down, the fullback. Now inside ball to Natasha Hunt. Massive forward momentum here. Going off to the left again. Sitting only about the 10 metres out from the try line. Natasha Hunt moves it again for England. 10 metres from the try line. 22 metres out. Now Allcroft. Hunt. Skip pass. Chance here for her. She gets a little bit closer. Big collision with her and actually her teammate there. And Meg Jones over the line. And England score their third of the semi-final. It's a massive moment for them as that could be the difference maker. Sitting 21 minutes remaining on the clock. That is the second World Cup try here now. And the big bump off from Abby Dow to sit down the opposition fullback was absolutely huge. And just that next pick and go, Natasha Hunt, perfect pass and a great attacking run forward for Abby Ward to score it. And I mean, damn, says Sam there. Now this kick has gone over as well, making the score 21 points to 12. That is an absolutely crucial kick to be going over. As with that one going over, it means that they have got that lead of more than 7. Meg Jones has been very good in this World Cup. Absolutely. She's been one of the standouts for England, and that's hard to do when you're on a side as stacked as this English team. But, you know, she has done it, and she's done it very well. Even just those driving tackles making all the difference in those midfield channels as well. Kicked off. The sun is actually out. Oh, almost a knock on for England. A bit of a steep bounce towards Alex Matthews. That is a name that we haven't said today as of yet. But now trying to get the steal and the breakdown for France. Not quite able to get it. Now kicking this one downfield. Nicely taken for Filou. Trying the step. Tackle round halfway again. Now ball's not out. So Bourdon Sansus does get time to be able to use it. Going off to the left-hand side. Arby with another step. Meg Jones and Hannah Bottoman having pure fire for England. And we get skills I've never seen before in the women's game. See, sister, I feel like it's that Sevens background. You know, it's a little bit underrated what it does for certain players in terms of getting that chance and just having that fitness as well to be able to go the full 80. You've got there about Ruth earlier on. Somebody needs to get over the line. If you aren't captain, get back 10, says Shane. And more mushy peas for England, says White Watt. And also we with there, Hamish. Try YouTube Ascended to be your guest commentator. Enjoy your rugby passion and commitment to the game, says David Simpson. And also we've got there, we're in the game, says Finley. Loose ball, France having to clean it up at the back, and it's a knock on, or at least it looked like it, from Vernier. I think they've said that it's gone sideways though here. Ball's still available for Les Bleus. And England most likely ones in 10 minutes of 10 minutes of overtime, 10 minutes of golden, then a kick contest for what the line breaks, what the tie breaks would be. Now passed across to the left again here. England sitting in a good position on the field. France trying to get the steal on the breakdown, but they were on the body, not the ball. Now Meg Jones does a step, gets round one defender, puts the kick in behind it, finds touch. Not quite the kick that she was after, but it has still relieved a bit of the pressure and does slow this game down to a nice halt. It allows England some time to be able to regroup and get reset. We have there Welsh dad, English mum, I think. English most likely to win. England are the only side yet to concede a single point in the final 20 minutes of the games of the World Cup. We have there, Hannah Bottoman is my favourite. She is such fun. So, sister there. Now England will have to defend here once again as France have got themselves the ball. Bourdon Sansus to put it back into the pocket, and she will be using it, kicking it up high, down the wing, chasing after this one. Not quite able to get there for Menager. Although England, they may have just conceded the penalty in the breakdown. No, penalty goes the way of the English. Still in the breakdown, looked pretty good from first reaction. Off the feet was the call. We'll have to see a replay of that one. It was lightning quick, the way that she was able to get in there, Filou. Agree, shame women's game should not have women yelling at refs. Says, wait, what? Now, we're going to see the line out here for the English. I hope we get to see a replay of that breakdown, but I don't think we're going to, which is interesting. Normally, you get a replay of the breakdown when it's a good, solid penalty one. I've decided against it here. They're just going to be playing on. My mother's name, Mums Jones, Grandma Jones. Says Ruth there. Now rolling more here for the English once more. This is something that they have used as their tried and trusty no refs, no game, respect them, says a sister there. Now tackle made. Hunt back across to Aldcroft. They're booking themselves closer and closer to that final now. England another step inwards for Hurd. She's tackled low by Conde. Still 17 minutes remaining. I don't think there was a clear release there for France, but that time they get the penalty. Interesting. That was probably one that maybe that last breakdown I would have said wasn't a penalty, whereas that one, that last breakdown I thought was a penalty for France. And this one I thought maybe wasn't. So they're back even 50-22 on the cards right next to the sideline. Driving tackle from Menegier. Thank you for hosting this, says sister. No worries at all. I'm going to be doing that bronze final as well between New Zealand and France. Still trying to find someone to do the final for us, seeing as it does overlap with a rugby championship game that was already locked in from the start of the championship comp. And now Baudon Sansus. It's a good kick in behind, seeing the space in behind England. And on the ruck again, the ref cannot see the French player constantly handling in the ruck, says Scott. But now will be another chance here for the French to be able to throw that one in. Nicely taken, Baudon Sansus. So another 15 on the clock, and it's the knock on from the French. Meg Jones managing to get that offload, and that could be the difference maker now. Another lost opportunity for the French when it came to their attack. England-Canada is going to be a great final. Says I Lollipop, it would be number 1 versus number 2 in the world. It doesn't get much bigger than that. Now stepping Menegier, trying to find her way through, gets another offload away. It's going to be accidentally knocked on from England, playing in Bristol. Says David, they certainly are. The final, it is going to be at Twickenham, a sold-out stadium already for this matchup. Or for that next matchup, I should say, but both these games at Ashton Gate. The ruck, like the scrum, as Dark Arts sort it is. And also we have got the Hamish is just the ball and says Roof looks like another change is about to be made. In fact, 4 changes for the English. Always score more tries to take the ref out of the game, says wait what? So we see Aitchison make her way onto the field for Hurd. That's one of the big changes that England can make later on in a game. The fact that they've got that experience. See there also Ward off, Gallagher on. And Lucy Packer gets the chance out there on the field for the final 15 rather than Natasha Hunt, who has had a solid game in the number 9 jersey for the English, not just in this game, but throughout the whole of the competition. It will be scrum feed for France here, though, round the halfway line. Still time left on the clock, and like I mentioned, they scored 2 late tries up against the English in the Six Nations to bring it back within a point. C4 changes, and they will bury the French, their sister. Now Baudon Sansus, who put that ball in, missing the hook there, and it's gone out on the far side of the scrum. I'm not too sure what's going to happen here. In fact, the referee calls for the scrum reset. Now, let's go the French, says Dirch. I hope you sleep well later, Hamish, says sister. Yeah, we are going to be sleeping at around probably about 18 hours time, I think is when I'll end up heading to bed. Listening on the beach in Greece. Love your commentary, says Lixichu. Hopefully I've said that correctly. It is greatly appreciated. You being here. Jones remind me of Richie McCaw, the turnover king. Like they're saying, England one more try here and this game is done and dusted. France theoretically can bring it back within 7 if they get themselves a penalty at some point here. 18 hours, she says sister there. Now back across to the left-hand side. Chance here for the French. Passing one more on the outside. Menegier. And I feel like France, they'll be looking back at those other moments earlier on in the game where they weren't able to score a try when they possibly should have. And they'll be regretting those about now. How's it, Hamish? Sorry, I'm late. Says, no worries at all. It is great to have you here once again. Now, Baudon Sansus. Back across to the left, another offload there from France. That is what they've done well throughout this competition, so they just have to keep on doing it now. Letou, or in fact, sorry, it is Filou, around the side of the breakdown, and a little knock on from France. We see there, Baudon Sansus does not believe the referee. Are you going to the last 18 hours before going to sleep? Probably. We'll end up being all right, I'd say. But 3 more games still to come later on today, ladies and gents. We have got the Pacific Nations Cup games, 2 games in a row between Tonga and Canada for the 3rd place, and then it will be Fiji versus Japan in the final. Before that, though, there is a World Cup qualification game between Chile and Samoa. It's the first of 2 legs that are taking place, and a crucial one at that. And subscribe because you're worth it. Says Sister Korea, so it is greatly appreciated. Of course, we've got plenty more rugby coming up in the near future too, not just this weekend, but also next weekend. The Rugby Championship returning, URC starting it up as well. Where is the smash taking place? What do you mean by the smash, Ethan Hooker? And righto, says Jason. Now, this ball's going to be going in. And nicely taken. At the back, England. Little grubber attempted in behind, but she's kicked it straight into the hands of Kildunn. Cuts inwards. Another step. This is going to be dangerous. And she's got all the pace in the world. Scores the try. England going for the kick in behind. France ending up controlling it with their foot, but popping it straight up into the hands of the worst possible player to give it to, Kildunn, who just kept on stepping. And that is now the final, surely booked for the English here. We're going to see it, the kicker behind, and then just grubbers it forward to Kildunn, and they gave her an acre of momentum to move forward a couple steps. And then she pins the ears back. The hair's already pinned back for this one. And she scores her double for this match. Get in, try, says Ian. Pass me a now. I have a coffin to seal, says Sister. And also we go there, that's game, and she's hectic. And also a try off. A non-existent knock-on, says Jeremy there. And also we get their French, need to regroup, focus, don't blow it, les bleus. France just gave it to them on a silver platter, says Brett. Seemed like a good idea at the time to control it with the foot, but just didn't work out the best possible way. 28 points to 12 now, the lead for the English. Just the 10 minutes remaining. Put the cake to bed. I think that will lock it in for the Roses, says Justin, and Black Ferns versus England. It was written in the stars to play the bronze final, amen. Just catch it, France. I like the game because England is smashing. Says Ethan. Now going off to the right-hand side here for the Red Roses. They have got 10 minutes to try and avoid injuries. That is the big one. You simply cannot give Kildunn half a chance. Says Akaris, and a little chip in behind here, nicely taken by RB. Now short side here for France. Little grubber attempted, but that ball will roll into touch. And what a flaming game, mate. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal contest between these two sides. The scoreline looks a little bit more one-sided, I think, than this game is represented. But England have well and truly taken their chances better throughout this one. Yeah, I'm always like Kildunn's here in the go-fast fashion. So yeah, it's wait what? Now, line-out throw here. And Chile is the match. Looking forward to hopefully Samoa can qualify for the World Cup, says Mornay. And the big thing is, even if they play well in that first match, it's not straight from France. Oh no, sorry, not straight from England, my apologies. France have now got themselves the scrum. It looks like Kildunn stayed down here. She's got a bit of an injury to her knee. She does not look flash at the moment. She's going to try and continue, but that knee is giving her a lot of pain. She's going to try and stick it out. Now, in this sort of scenario, you have to wonder, is it worth the risk? You're up by a total of 16 points. You don't need to play this last 10 minutes if you're Kildunn. But she's going to try to, and it's either going to mean that she doesn't get to play in the final or she will still be there if she gets through. And get off, says Bad Dog. How Chile win against Samoa? Chile are slight underdogs, but not by a massive margin in that matchup, so it's a bit hard to say. I think Samoa can beat Chile later on. There's a chance. They should, but you just don't know. Got my Ferns predictions wrong, but at least I called this one. And thank you so much for your excellent commentary, Dave from New Plymouth. Here's David in there as well. So yeah, it is greatly appreciated you popping in for this game. That ball's gone backwards for France in the breakdown, and they are 10 metres out from the line after 3 more changes have now just been made. Nurse the knee, come back strong for the final. And even rugby chicks are tougher than football men. Says Daryl, yeah, but she doesn't want to risk the injury because or else if she's out for the final, I think that really lowers England's big chances. Now Baudon Sansus going just short, 5 metres out from the line. Allcroft got a hit on the wrong side, probably lucky not to end up with a knockout blow there. For France, still 5 metres short of the try line if Chile win. Are they in the World Cup? Not quite. They have to do it over 2 legs of aggregate up against the Samoans. Paul Kildone off. So here's Frank. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like the risk that we want to use here. Definitely because at the end of the day, she's just come back from a concussion too. So, we've seen the impact that she can bring in a game here. And the last thing that they want is to not have her for that game up against the Canadians. Pick and go again, this time for Marca. 2 metres out from the line for the French, and an advantage is now in play. A yellow card could change things massively for the final 10 minutes of this game. In fact, it's less than that. Ball on the outside. Bounce pass. It should be the try, and it is. The second for Kunde. And the French, they have a little bit of aggression in the way that they're running this one back. They know that they are lacking time and that they need to use up as little as they can on this kick, although while still getting it over would be absolutely crucial. Lots of respect to the Ferns, says Kareem. If Samoa don't win tonight, we're next for Samoa, then they would end up playing Chile next week for the aggregate. And then if they were to lose that one, then they have to go into the repechage for the one last chance. Finally try, but time damn. Says Brett. Now lining up this kick for France. 7 minutes left on the clock. It is a crucial one. She nailed a kick from this rough angle not too long ago. This one's coming round. It's looking pretty good. And it's just short. Not quite the distance on it. And keeping the score at 28 points to 17. It's confusing. I want the ladies to win something, but I hate England winning anything. So here's Robert there. And Samoa's playing in Utah, so it's almost a home game for them. So here's Justin there. But yeah, it's certainly going to be one that they need to get off to a flying start. Chile haven't played since, I believe, July. So that is one bonus for the Samoans. Oh, she is yelling at the moment. Baudon Sansu, she is saying England are time wasting. Getting ready for the kickoff. And they have now kicked it off deep. France taking it inside of their own 22. Tackle made by Abby Dow. Finished off by Meg Jones. Now, Baudon Sansu, I don't know if they have enough time here, France, to be able to afford to kick this one back into the hands of England. They kind of need a penalty or a line break. One of those two, and instead they get a knock-on. Poor pass coming from Le Bleu. And counter-attack now for England. Looking to shift it out into the wide on the left-hand side. Little grubber. And that's going to be now advantage over. Pop pass on the outside. Running out of space. And big driving tackle from Sadia Kabaya. And did the Springboks play against Chile, says Mohadin. They did not play them in the World Cup. Samoa did, though, fun fact. So we're a part of Pool D. I love you all in New Zealand. Sign Canada. The legend of Jonah Lomu. Says Karim in there as well. And it's going to be awesome seeing the Canadians in that final. See what they can do up against the English. At least it looks that way. Cross kick coming from France. It's going to bounce awkwardly. Yes, it does. Controlled now. But no real forward momentum here for the French. If anything, they're going back and sideways. Meg Jones over the ball wins another penalty. Give her the player of the match already. She wanted to take it quick, but not on the mark. English people are very cheeky. Come on, England. So here's Louis there. And out of the 4, New Zealand performed the worst as a team, not as number 3. Hope they worked things out. The fire was just not there. As New Zealand fans, I'm rooting for Canada in this final. And England all the way, says Mina. As well, but the penalty count. 10 against France, 8 against the English. That count has been quite telling throughout this contest. England have taken more of their chances throughout this game than the French, regardless of whoever wins this afternoon, evening. My player of the match today is Hamish and the Kiwi lads. So here's Justin there. And Canada the chance of what? Nothing. So here's Bad Dog. And also we have got there, does the Springboks ever play against Chile? Probably way back in the day, maybe. Hard to say, though. I can't think of it in a World Cup as of late. And we have got there, Canada. Let's go. So here's AJ. Now there's another advantage in favour of England. They have still got the 4 remaining. And now backline movement. Little grubber attempted. Is this one going to curl? No, it goes dead. And they'll go back for the penalties. I'm saying respect to the All Blacks and the Ferns. To the poster. Says Karim there. Thanks for the Japanese commentary. Go Canada. Says Barnabu. Yeah, that's going to be an intriguing game up against the Fijians. Japan have played so great throughout this whole Pacific Nations Cup competition. Fiji yet to be defeated either. So it's really going to be intriguing. See who manages to win that one. Taking place in around 9 hours' time. Now another chance here for the English when it comes to that line out. It's been a successful option for them throughout this game, definitely in the rolling maul, but they've knocked it on this time. And what is the date for the Rugby World Cup draw, says Mornay? I know it's in December. I'm not sure of the exact date as of yet. And that's it. I'm applying for a Canadian passport, says Red Owl, and Fiji versus Japan. I love both nations, says Sister. But yeah, we will be covering that game on the channel in about 9 hours' time. Ellie Kildunn, she does get the player of the match, although definitely Bottoman and Jones would have to be right up there too. How many UFC fighters currently from Canada? How many top boxers from Canada? Canada at house. So current UFC fighters, if you're talking outside of champions, they've actually got quite a few. But if you're talking champions at the moment, not that many. We have got their timers ticking, running out, says Ruth. But now, ready for the scrum, sitting about 5 metres out from the line. Our French will have to get the ball, says Ruth. And English, cheeky, come now, Mr. Bond. We invented most things, including rugby. How can I see the match? So the match, it is available depending on where you are in the world, will depend on your options. So it's best to check out the Women's Rugby World Cup website. It will tell you your watching options depending on where you are geographically. Okay, there, no. There's barely any top UFC fighters from Canada, no top 10. Okay, so you meant top 10 fighters. See, originally you just said UFC fighters from Canada, which there are. But if you're talking top 10, not that many. We have got there one of the best to ever do it in MMA was Canadian, GSP, yeah, George St. Pierre, absolute legend of the MMA scene. And I agree, Frank says TMA Fitness. And we have got there, did Japan win against New Zealand this year? Says Mohideen. Thanks for the great coverage, been a pleasure. Says AJ, and also well done the Roses, says Matt. We have got there when it's the next earliest match. Next match is taking place in around 3 hours' time. We are going to be covering on the channel between Samoa and Chile for their playoff one. We have got the RMG, that's why I said current. Canada got no relevance in UFC at all. Why is it just the UFC that you're basing it off, though? Rather than, like, the other sports as well. Now rolling maul, sitting 10 metres out from the line. This is moving very nicely for the Red Roses. Well done, England. And the Canadians just knock, I don't care, French. And now we have got off the post for the English. It will be the try. Meg Jones manages to score it. That was an awkward one. Ended up bouncing off the post, coming back, and she managed to score it. Grab a spade, we're burying the French. Says sister, I mean Fiji, says Mohideen. Are they not chance of anything, Lowell says Bad Dog, but they have got the chance of becoming champs of the Women's World Cup as they are through to the final, which is something that the most decorated side in history for the women's game, New Zealand, cannot say. They have got their thanks, Hamish. Great coverage, says Ricky Ham. And 2014 final rematch, let's do it, says AJ. And also a rematch of the semi-final last year. In fact, it's the same on both sides. New Zealand versus France was a semi-final of the last World Cup. And England versus Canada was the semi-final as well. And good game, England. You are the better team today. Congrats, says Brett. But now, getting ready to line this one up. Does get the kick over. Just the 25 seconds remaining on the clock now. And England now leading this game comfortably. And 35 points to 17. We have got their... well, Kareem started it, signed Canada. Well, signed this. I think you completely misread Kareem's one. Like, completely. Because all I saw from it, yeah, he just said, love you all in New Zealand. Signed Canada, the legend of Jonah Lomu. So he's pretty much said, from a Canadian, huge amount of respect for New Zealand. And you've gone and said, hey, your country sucks. For no reason whatsoever. But now England kick their ball into touch and they will finish it off. They will move through to the final and they will take on the Canadians there. There's one beforehand was nice as well. He said respect to the Black Ferns. I feel like you've misread that. And whoever's got there earlier on, he said, yeah, our men's team tanked here in Canada. So he's literally admitting that Canada didn't do that well. And we have got their fabulous coverage, Hamish. Thanks, mate. Sorry about the Black Ferns. Says Red Howe. They didn't deserve to win it. Canada were the much better side out there on the field, and they will be happy to make their way through to the final. We have got their English ladies wanted it more. It should be a very good final. Says Tin Man there. No, bro, you got to read the lines. I read it right. He knows. I don't think you're reading it right, though. I think that you're probably just used to having fights on social media that you've decided everyone hates everyone. But I read all those ones and they just seem respectful. He just said pretty much good stuff, Canada. He said our own team in terms of the men's for Canada weren't doing that well. And he said that they were excited for the final. What's wrong with that? We have got there. Cheers, Hamish. Says Gus there, and also come on England. Great win. Says Gianpaolo. We have got there. Rather don't trash each other's countries on this show. Exactly. It was mutual respect being shown between the Canadians and the New Zealand side, and all of a sudden it got personal for no reason. We have got the I've got my Taiaha that's out there in case. Says wait what, and great work, Hamish. Get some Red Bull for the rest of the shift. Cheers. Says Frank. Currently possession 61% throughout this game for the French. So they did extremely well to be able to hang on to that ball, but there were a few of those handling errors that just ended up hurting them, and English ladies usually like it more. Says Bruce, well, they have been in finals many times over, but the English, they now want to end that massive winning streak with a World Cup victory under the belt. Just love the rugby. Says Ricky Ham. I'm just going to sign you off. Says Bad Dog. Once again, I have no idea what you're going on about. Expected result. And cheers, Hamish. The final should be big. It will be a massive one. 1 versus 2 in this contest. Thanks for the commentary. All the best. Says Akaris. And there as well. But there are celebrations out there on the field at the moment for the English. People need to calm down in the chat. What must New Zealand of last week? Canada were fantastic, says Ruth. Absolutely, they were. And they played like the better team in that match. Glad England won. Thank you. See you again in a few hours. Canadians are cool. Just a little scuffle. Then we make up, says, wait, what? And also Shane Wells said, and there as well. But it will be the award going the way of Ellie Kildunn. She is the woman of the match. Everyone crying because they asked what Canada good at, exposing them for the truth. Well, it just seemed like you were starting a fight for absolutely no reason. Like, I know that maybe today hasn't gone the way that you thought it would in terms of some of the results. But, you know, what's with the negativity? If anything, this has been one of the best Women's World Cups we have seen in quite some time. And the majority of people have been enjoying it. We have got there's a queue for Rugby World Cup tickets. So the French are putting their tickets for resale, I'm guessing. Says Robert T. We have got there. I thought the officials handled that game well. Can't wait for the final. French ladies can hold their heads high as well. I thought they played a good game. Yeah, France actually, you know, the scoreline probably doesn't represent, like, how well France played in this match. I thought that they did actually quite well. They were competitive in that first half. They were close, but it was just those couple moments where they forgot how to pass. You know, there were a few drop balls. There are always going to be in these type of pressure scenarios. Definitely with the fact that we did see a bit of rain before the game started. Respect to everyone here from every country. Cheers from South Africa, says Daryl. We have got there. I have to say it, France number is a real cutie. I'm sure the French ladies will be a good welcome home when they return, says Tin Man. Yeah, making it through to that final more than they did in that last World Cup, and now the opportunity to rematch up against the English, a side that they only lost by 7 points last season, or last World Cup up against in the semi-final. I've got there, well done, England, but Canada is going to win the World Cup, says Johan. The score reminds me of the other one yesterday. Says Kiwi Express, do you think France Women's will win next week? I think New Zealand will have to play a very good game of rugby to beat this French side. Definitely if they come out firing. But the other side of things here is, will France take this loss? Well, in fact, New Zealand, it could be the same. Who will take the loss harder in that scenario? Because both teams probably expected to at least be close to that final. France number 9, I mean, says Daryl there. And Karim, you're a cool man. Says, wait, what? And there as well. But nonetheless, it is 1 versus 2 in the world for the final of the Women's World Cup. It is 3 versus 4 is the bronze final. And there is a chance that we could see the rankings be 1, 2, 3, 4 and stay that way at the end of this World Cup. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, we've got 3 hours till that next match taking place between Samoa and Chile. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.